When I was 7 years old, I was sitting on my roll-up sleeping bag in our garden apartment in Lansing, Michigan, where my mom and I lived. I was waiting for my dad to come pick me up to go camping. My dad was a Vietnam vet, and he came back from Vietnam with all the PTSD and the alcoholism, and maybe we didn't even understand it back then like we do today. My parents were divorced when I was 2. My dad was supposed to pay $100 a month child support. He wasn't so good at that. But when I was 7 years old, I'm sitting there on that government issue sleeping bag, that olive drab sleeping bag. It's kind of like a cotton, and it had the black letter stamped on it, U.S. I got my buck knife, I got my toilet paper, and the Ziploc bag to go camping, so if it gets rained on, I don't have wet toilet paper. I already had my Captain Crunch, and I cleaned that up, put that away. I still got my Bugs Bunny over here, and I'm waiting for a knock at the door. My dad said, be ready 8 a.m. sharp, no dilly-dallying, no farting around, all your stuff in one sock, and I knew he meant that. I was there at 7:30, 7:45, I'm sitting on that sleeping bag, I'm looking at that door. 8 o'clock, there's no knock at the door. 8:15, there's no knock, and my mom doesn't say anything. At 8:30, my mom comes to me and she says, Scott, I don't think your dad's coming today. And that's the first time I ever remember my dad no-showing me for visitation, but it wouldn't be the last time. My mom was a registered nurse, and so thankfully she could support us, but she had to work real hard. She had to take that pager home all the time. She's a registered nurse at Sparrow Hospital, and she worked in the operating room, and so this pager is for when people get in car wrecks and they need an unscheduled surgery. Because all the other surgeries are all scheduled, the car crashes and those trauma cases, you don't know when they're going to happen. So we had to take that little Motorola pager everywhere we went. It was a stainless steel on one side and black on the other, and it had that belt clip for it. So back about 1980, the Empire Strikes Back comes out, and I want to go see this movie, and we go to the movie theater, and we have to have the talk. It's the talk about the pager. She says, Scott, if this pager goes off, we're going to have to come back see the movie next weekend or the weekend after. And so that pager went everywhere with us. And so it might be a school night, she'd have the pager, or the weekend, whatever. She always had this pager with her while I was growing up. And it might be 10 p.m. on a Wednesday, and I had been in bed for an hour or two. And she'd come, have to wake me up, and I'm in my pajamas and all that. She'd say, we have to go to the hospital. And I knew what that meant. It didn't mean that she had to go to the hospital. It meant we had to go to the hospital because somebody's in trouble, and she has to see if she can save her life. So I made a decision somewhere along the way, because of how hard my mom worked and how much she kind of didn't know about money. She just knew how to work hard. That when I got older, she wouldn't have to worry about money. She didn't know when I was growing up, I was always worried about her money. And so I knew that when I got older, I was going to figure out a way to help her not have to worry about money, get her affairs in order. And that's what I've done. She's got a successful retirement today. And there's a lot that goes into that with the investments and the tax planning, and the Medicare and the Social Security and all that stuff. But that's why it's important to me that this is why I do what I do, why I want your stuff figured out the way that I was able to help my mom do it for herself.